In this video, we are practicing with sequencing questions. We did our sequence exercise about the life cycle of a joey kangaroo, and so this is practice using that information. We have the passage itself that we can refer to, and we also have these notes that we've made in the process of understanding. So let's take a look at some questions. Number 1, which of these occurs first in the life cycle of a joey? Well, we know that the joey is born. It has no hair, it's tiny and vulnerable, but that is not one of my choices. I have to choose from these three things and figure out which one comes first. So let's see. A says the joey comes out of the pouch for short periods of time. That is number 4 in our sequence over here. So this was the 4th event that we looked at. The joey hops beside its mother. That's the 5th event that we made note of. The joey crawls into the pouch and begins to nurse. That is the 2nd event. This is very soon after the joey is born. It knows to crawl to that safe place against its mother, and that's where it begins to nurse and starts to grow. So of these three things, this one came first. Which of these occurs first in the life cycle of a joey? Which of these best describes a newborn joey? So a joey that has just been born. We know that joeys are born with no hair, they're very tiny, and they're vulnerable. They would be easy prey for animals who needed something to eat. A, it needs to be in its mother's pouch because it is afraid. B, it needs to be in its mother's pouch because it has no hair and cannot stay warm. Or C, it cannot easily fit into the pouch because of its long legs and tail. Well, that's a true statement, but that's 5th in this series of events. We're talking about a newborn joey. Did it mention that the joey is afraid? It did not. It tells us that the joey has no hair, so that tells me that it would probably get cold quite easily. I'm going to go with B. In its mother's pouch, it stays warm. It does stay safe. I was going to look at... We kind of have to make that jump, though, that because it has no hair, it would get cold quickly. Number 3, what could happen if the joey leaves the pouch too soon? A, it could freeze to death. Okay, we know that that would be a possibility because it's born with no hair. It could be eaten by another kangaroo. Well, I know that is not true because kangaroos don't eat meat, they eat grass. It would eat grass and be fine. Well, not if it's too young to eat grass. Remember, when it first crawls into the pouch, it's not eating grass. It's eating milk because it's a mammal, and mothers feed their babies milk. So we know that that could not be true, not for a newborn. And we know that this is not true because kangaroos don't eat meat, they eat grass. So again, I'm going to make that conclusion that it could freeze to death if it doesn't have enough hair. I'm not sure that it would get cold enough where it lives to freeze. Australia is pretty near the equator. But even if it's not cold outside, an animal with no hair can very easily lose body temperature. So even if there's no snow on the ground, it still could get cold enough to be hypothermic. Number 4, after the joey comes out of the pouch, what does its mother do? What does mom do at step 4 when the joey comes out of the pouch? He goes out some, but remember it said he stays close to mom. Let's go back here. When the joey becomes too big for the pouch and begins to venture out, still staying close to its mother for safety. As it continues to grow and becomes more independent, its mother teaches it important skills like finding food and avoiding predators. Just because the joey doesn't eat meat doesn't mean other animals would not eat the joey. So other animals would eat these small baby kangaroos. So does the mother leave the joey? No, she doesn't. Remember, the joey hops along beside her. Does she teach the joey to hunt lizards? Well, it said she teaches him to find food. Oops, what am I doing here? I meant to say she does not leave the joey. She does help the joey find food, but is it lizards that joeys would eat? They don't hunt. They like grass. But she does teach the joey to avoid danger. And the danger named is a predator. I would be okay with B except for that word lizards. If that said grass, I would be good with that one. Number 5. What prompts a joey to leave the pouch? If he's in there where he has milk and it's warm and it's safe, why would the joey leave the pouch? Is it because it doesn't fit anymore? Because it is hungry? Or because it is afraid of its mother? Well, we know about those long legs and that long tail. It's because it doesn't fit anymore. It outgrows the pouch. And if you remember, I think it even mentions that, yes, when the joey becomes too big for the pouch, those legs and that tail grow and it just doesn't fit anymore. Number 6, put these steps in the correct order. A, the joey leaves the pouch for short periods of time. B, the joey crawls into the pouch and begins to nurse. C, the joey hops along with its mother outside the pouch. D, the joey is born. And E, the joey learns to find food. Well, the first event is probably the easiest one to find. Number 1 is the joey is born. Right after the joey is born, what does it do? It crawls into the pouch and begins to nurse. And then the joey leaves the pouch for short periods of time. As his legs and tail begin to grow and he just doesn't fit anymore, he leaves for short periods of time. Then 4, he hops along beside the mother and she teaches him how to find food and avoid predators. So this gives us a sequence of 3, 2, 4, 1, 5. Very often those are separated with commas. You may even see them written this way. But that is called a sequence. And sometimes on tests, especially multiple choice tests, they will give you a bunch of these to choose from. They might do it this way. That's a sequence. They could do it this way. That's another sequence. But the correct sequence of events for this story would be this one. 3, 2, 4, 1, 5. So if I had choices, maybe of A, B, or C, I would choose this sequence. It correctly orders the events.